So we have a quorum. And so I'm looking for a motion to approve the minutes from the 10th of May.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I second.
No
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 typos?
changes, no.
Awesome. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. John McCarthy, are you here? John McCarthy? Okay, we got and you got an email from John McCarthy, 2A Interlaken Crossroad for tree removal review. He has John Field Tree Service doing the work. He sent pictures of the trees that he wants to remove. So I don't know if we want to go do a site visit, but here is the file and the pictures. If anyone wants to do a site visit for 2A Interlaken Road.
Yeah, because the picture,
What day?
it's hard to tell what's dead and what's alive by these pictures. So yes, I'd like to see it.
Okay,
What day?
you guys just want to go.
So I go next week.
What days work for you? Monday's a holiday next week.
The Thursday is the
Second,
2nd,
the afternoon.
4 o'clock. Okay. And the address is 2 Interlaken.
2A Interlaken Road.
2A. Okay.
Okay, thank
So you're going to go 4 o'clock, June 2nd?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we've not heard from, although I did talk to them. I still haven't heard back on Bernard Hahn. Have not received the planting plan from Greg Wellenkamp. So we have the notice of intent for Steve Averbrook and Rachel Rivest. We did a site visit this past week.
They're on
And
Zoom.
we reviewed, and they are here, and we reviewed the site and the project, and generally speaking, it seemed to be fine to me. Does anybody have comments, concerns?
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I was not at the site visit. How many trees were coming down and was there any discussion about replacement?
Could I step in, please?
Yes, Matt.
Matt Bunton from SK and Shannon Wilson from White Engineering. We were at the site visit and are involved. And I think Shannon would be best fit to answer that question. if
Okay,
that's
great, sure.
Yes, there are 16 trees coming down and 20 being planted. These are revised plans with a revised planting plan. At the site visit, we discussed adding another tree in a wetland area by the water. And we added red maple and white pine as options for additional trees to the planting list. In this package is also the planting lists.
Can you tell me the number of trees again that are taken out?
16
16
and
taken out,
yes,
and how many replaced?
20,
And they're all trees?
yes.
It's a difficult site.
It's a very
Yeah.
tight site.
And my humble opinion is that they are doing the best they can given what they've got.
And Shannon, were you going to fix that, remember that wet area by the dock that's gonna be removed? Did you put that in here, the new plantings?
We discussed there that that's going to be some woody vegetation put in there,
Okay.
some shrubs, so that'll help stabilize that area. That is this area here. Here, the old dock was here. That's the dogwoods that are going to stay. So it's in this area here. It's one of the restoration areas when the dock is removed, and this area here, which is, and then this is the honeysuckle area. So the tree replacement, I have some over here.
Yep.
which is in a wooded area, and then some here going in the wetland and in the buffer. The leach field is here. This is bordering vegetated wetland and the stream channel. So we're supplementing some. I added a couple down here to give some more canopy of full growth to that wetland area for taking out the larger white pines.
And what's the distance from the house to the BVW? How far in the buffer is it? I know the whole project is in buffer, right?
That question came up last time.
Yeah.
The existing house to the BBW is probably about 10 feet.
But there's no new construction any closer. I think it's actually further.
That's existing. From the house to the BBW, we're not moving it. It's the
Is
same.
it expanding? Is it going to be a bigger?
So
Well,
to
little-
refresh your memory, they're adding a couple small additions
Yeah,
that were staked out in the field. They're further away from the BBW. One's a necessary utility room and the other is to replace an entryway here on the backside of the house.
Lisa, just so you know, the entryway on the side of the house is really falling off. It's really in tough shape, so they really need to replace that. And right now, they've got their well, Matt, can you point to where the well is?
Well's here.
Well is over there, and it has overground tubing that goes from
The garden hose.
yeah, from the well to the house, and all of the functional utilities are currently under the house, exposed to the elements, pretty much. So this is really,
better.
they're going to make this a functional, house beyond one season. This is really their only option.
And the tree here seemed to, Sally thought was not healthy, right?
Yeah,
I think arguably there's several not healthy.
they've got woolly adelgid in the hemlocks.
Yeah, and some of these ash up here are very sick. There's a couple ash down here that have been treated with injection, so they are trying to save those.
Okay. So we would want 75% survivability.
In what time frame?
3 years.
And pre-construction site visits, so we can see the erosion controls.
Absolutely. That's a standard condition anyways, I think, but
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Anything else that you have questions for us? No? Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So does someone want to make a motion to close the hearing?
I make a motion to close the hearing.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, you're done.
Aye.
Can I ask one follow-up question?
Sure.
Or request if the original order of conditions be sent to myself, and I'll make sure it's recorded.
I don't send it to the applicant anymore because they keep
Did you
losing.
get lost?
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.
all right. Certificate of Compliance, Christian Selke, 212 Old Stockbridge Road.
Mark Forsythe, Jeff Lynch here representing as the attorney. So I did a site visit. This is miniature, but I made copies for each one. So I went down and reviewed, I should have asked Matt to stay, but this is okay. I reviewed this. There is
'Cause
70.
they did the original.
They did the original,
They did
right?
the
I mean, if you're okay, I'll just represent
Yeah,
what's
I mean,
there.
we've got a plan.
There's 71 trees still there, and they're healthy, fruit trees. They're planted like 20 foot apart and in 20-foot rows. So there's 71 fruit trees still there, and there's one oak tree. So we would propose to plant the additional trees that are needed there. So the 29 and 29 fruit trees to make it
Get up to 100.
100. They asked for 100. I looked at the plans. There was, the plantings are in where the green is. So they concentrated them, which is fine. It's a nice density of trees, actually. And the rest of what they showed as cleared area there, that was the rest of the orchard, that's just naturally coming up. It's meadow. it's coming up as birches and honey locust. So, and the berm is where the green line is down below it. So they've changed this to here.
Okay.
So that, this is here now, which is it at the bottom of the slope. So I think it meets what they propose to do here, except for not having the total tree on it.
So I'm confused. I went back and looked at the plans and I went through the file. This is the original file that we have, which, as you well know, was very contentious as far as the neighbors were concerned, and in fact, still is contentious. I have rarely received so many phone calls as I got on this one. There was a pond there when we
Right.
did the original site visits. What has happened to the pond?
That's been eliminated. It was a small pond, non-jurisdictional, because it's less than 10,000 square feet. It's by definition, it's not a pond.
Okay.
So it's just a landscape feature. There was no inlet. They fed it by groundwater.
So when you say it's been removed or it's gone, do you put fill in it? Do you?
They just filled everything in from the sides. In fact, if you go out to the property, there's actually some cattails there that were probably as part of the pond. So they just filled it in. There was a berm on the downhill side. They just filled the whole thing in and just meshed all up to grade. So it's gone. And the paddock is gone and the horse,
There was proposed to be a horse barn there
that's
too.
gone also.
Okay.
So it's
Not
just a
there.
meadow now.
So my confusion here, generally speaking, is that there are two lots.
Right.
And this,
So when she.
What we're looking
So when
at
she originally did
here-
it, I think she owned both the properties.
Right.
So I can do it on this one. She owned 226, 218, and 212.
right,
She built, 226 was sold. 218 is where the barn is now.
yes,
So she does not have this lot anymore to do
So this,
the Scenic Mountain Act worked with that. She planted this area. But to do the additional plantings, we're proposing to just doing on 218. So that's going to be in this area.
Never owned 226. It's a neighbor who
Was that a neighbor that was agreeable to the
Yes,
whole thing?
exactly.
Okay, so there you go.
can you tell us your name for the record?
James Crane, I'm the husband of the applicant, whatever you want to call her status.
So
Applicant.
you're asking for certificate of compliance before these plantings are done?
We've just put in for the certificate of compliance.
Okay, so I would want to see the. plan.
Yeah, I think, so I'm sort of fresh to this, so I've got a first look at this today. And so I'm just sort of gonna see what I have looked at with the file, that the order of conditions it ordered in May of 2016. The board, as part of the order, had said that they were going to return to review, assess the erosion control measures, mitigation of the drainage repair, and assess the plantings and soil stability, which the board did, and essentially said that everything was looking good. This was in September of 2016. I think the next step didn't occur, which immediately on the tail of that correspondence to apply for the certificate of compliance.
Right, so it should.
So I think with the new pending application, they'll be heard in a couple weeks. I think there was, this issue came back up as being unknown, but still open.
Okay.
And so we're trying to compartmentalize the two of them so that we're not
Sure.
confusing the two order of conditions. And so we'd love to be able to get a certificate of compliance here with the additional plantings. Because really, I think the additional plantings, for the most part, are replacing trees that just haven't survived since the 2016
Right.
meeting.
So do the plantings
We're going to do the plantings.
and
They-
then you'll get.
They might even be done before your next
Before the
meeting.
14th. So you're aware of that?
Yeah. So they are going to go in, they're proposing to do that. So we're going to go in and do the plantings, probably do an overplant.
Good.
because the survivability, you're going to have some leaving, dying. So I'm proposing that we talked about maybe doing some other trees instead of the fruit trees, but I'm just going to propose that they do the fruit trees, just to stay with the scheme of the thing. And then there was proposed to be 8 oak, maple, and birch. And we can do 7 more of those to make that.
In a way that they actually work with scenic mountains so that they provide some, I mean, the point of
So,
scenic mountains.
no, so.
You don't see the,
Yeah, no, we're going to keep these separate.
Okay.
So when we get into the Scenic Mountain Act for the new house, we'll have a landscape plan for that. So we'll address any mitigation planting to screen the house at that time.
okay,
And we're still working on that, but we'll get it to you.
so.
Yeah.
Okay.
But this is just to close out.
To close out this-
old CX Mountain Act, because it's still recorded in the registry, it has to come out of the registry, so the new one can be processed. So
I think
we're
that,
just putting in front of you.
Right.
We want to do the planting. If you're okay with that, we'll go ahead and do the planting. And then this should be in good shape, as long as those trees stay healthy.
As long as, were there other?
we're going to want to see that those are in place before we issue the certificate.
That's fine.
Okay. So none of this, when I was looking at the plans, it wasn't entirely clear to me. None of this, what you're asking for the certificate of compliance, none of this is on the same property, or none of this work is on the same property as we're now going to look at for a new house. Is that correct? Because my
No,
memory
no,
of.
No, you are. No,
Okay.
It is on the same property.
So that it's confusing because, when we looked at it the last time, there was going to be a barn and there was going to be, for Charlotte's horse and maybe another horse, I don't know. And then there was the pond and then there was where it was clear cut. And the clear cutting, as you know, was a big hairy deal. It's still a big hairy deal. And the neighbors are calling and, we need to make the neighbors as happy as we can make them because we can't regrow those trees that were taken down originally.
So this was what was presented to you, and obviously you
No, I know.
accepted it.
Yes, we
So
did.
We're trying to just get it done.
But, we need to make sure that all our Ts and Is are crossed and dotted.
So I think the plan, if I could, with the plan with the new house, is this existing house is going to working on a plan right now to separate this as a separate house.
Okay.
So the barn and the new house. If you
we'll-
envision like an L, you're going to see
So
the
the,
majority of the property is going to go with the barn,
with that barn.
Right.
that barn and the house sitting back
Yeah, the
here
house is
in
sitting
front of the orchard
Right.
area.
And rumor has it, we only know what we hear, that there may be, the barn may have a full kitchen. And if it does, then you're going to be up against the building inspector.
In Lennox.
We're working
But
on that.
we'll, yeah,
We'll work on that.
that's one of the issues that I just got
We understand.
put on task for,
Okay.
but
That's Lennox, we're not going to worry about
that's
that.
Lennox, yeah.
Yeah. No, it's because the house is going to be in Stockbridge.
The new house.
Yeah.
But that,
And it's,
Isn't this?
and it's on the same
This is-
lot.
Sorry, that gets confusing. The house is right here.
This is gone.
The barn is right
You
here.
sold
Yeah.
this,
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
That never was.
Never
Right.
owned.
Yeah,
And then the plantings are still going in all the lots
that's right.
to finish what your work
I'm
you
going to
need.
propose that they just do it
So
on
you're
her
saying-
properties.
Yeah.
You're going to do it just here,
Right.
not in all of
Yeah.
this as this
And if we-
little picture.
If we do it in 15-foot offsets, that's 5 feet up from
See in the picture,
that.
I think,
doesn't it have, because that's the
Yeah,
same
that's right
number,
there.
but the trees come down into here.
Well, they
Right,
were.
the red
so the original
dots.
planting was there.
They
right?
was, that's
Yeah.
true.
Okay.
Yes.
The original plantings are.
I'm sorry, I wasn't
And
trying.
now it's just, it's where the trees have to be replaced that haven't survived. And so where they're going to be located.
So anyways, why don't we'll do the planting. Let me get a schedule before we, do you need to set a site visit now?
Up to you.
I mean, I'd like to have it,
Anytime, it'll be
Ron is-
done by the 10th.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
Ron
I'd
is
like to
away
know.
and John is sick, so, Ron, I think Ron's back by the end of the week.
do you want to find out when anybody can get there before your next meeting?
Before the 14th?
Before
That
the
would be great.
14th?
We could set a site visit. let him
Thursday
know.
before the
You want
14th.
to do Thursday?
Thursday before the 14th is the
You said-
9th.
So it will be the 9th, yes, please.
9th?
Okay, so, and we have, my,
What time?
Jim, is that okay with you?
Yeah, fine.
Okay. So I lost my train of thought.
So June 9,
At what time?
at
It just went,
212 Old Stockbridge.
Yeah, what time?
Road.
How
yeah,
about 3:30? That work?
That's fine.
Works for me.
to me. Um, I don't know where it went. It's just gone.
And we're not
Oh,
going to any of the others.
But all of these properties are in Stockbridge, is that right?
No, the houses are in
This
Lennox.
is the Lennox Stockbridge line. This is
Ah.
Lennox Stockbridge.
Oh, that's, okay. Oh, there it is, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what I was going to say. So I know that we discussed the length of the driveway to the new house.
Yeah.
And again, the
There's a special
The
permit being.
thorny situation of it being both in Lennox and in Stockbridge, which if it were 500 feet in Stockbridge, then it would require a planning board decision. And I don't,
Proposing to go in for it anyways.
yeah, so,
And
Yeah.
your soil erosion control is actually in the back of your Seas Mountain Act packet.
okay.
It's in,
So that's the other thing. It's going to require, it's going to require our,
29,000 square feet.
yeah,
Which is,
our, whatever it is, stormwater.
Yeah.
Stormwater,
we got it.
going to have to come in under stormwater.
Dealing
Yeah.
with that too.
and that will be on the agenda next time?
All right, so yes, we had the snafu with the Eagle changing their whole way of doing things. And I had thought that they were going to start doing it. But no, they didn't.
Is that okay with you folks? We'll do
Yeah,
the
so
plan.
it's advertised and it's all set, and I got the confirmation, so we're all set for the next meeting.
Okay,
All right,
thank you.
Great, thanks so much.
Yeah, have a good night.
okay, so Laura's coming up on the next meeting.
It is, okay. I just
Okay.
want to make sure that it is, you have it, it's advertised.
I have it, it's good, we're all set. I have successfully navigated the new advertising system at the Eagle.
Okay, good. That's okay. I just didn't see it on that list.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, so it wasn't, so it's on this one tonight as being upcoming.
Okay.
We're all set.
Okay.
And I-
Is there anything anybody wanted to discuss about that since I'm
Sure, why not?
here?
If this is right next
what is
door to the one that we just went to.
Oh, right.
And you folks
We were
are,
there a while ago.
We are the abutters to Annie Selfie.
Okay.
And so
all right,
confused about what the nature of the business was tonight.
okay, can you tell me your names?
We're immediately adjacent to them.
Right.
Sandra and Eric Berkowitz.
I'm sorry, Sandra?
Berkowitz.
Sandra and Eric. Berkowitz.
Sandra.
And we live at 206 Old Stockbridge Road, and we had spoken with Mr. Rucker. Is that his name?
Broker.
Yeah, he was kind enough to answer our early questions, and he knew at that stage relatively little about it. We were concerned actually about the fact that there would be a house built. So we were concerned about how close it was to the lot line, whether it would block the view that we had.
It's not.
I've read the Mountain View Act and
Yeah.
understand that it is only a one-story house that's available.
right,
And their land does slope off. A portion of our land is in Stockbridge also.
right,
They have some fairly high planted trees right along the edge. I think there were issues. We lived in that house for 4 years. There were issues prior between our owner and our house and their owner. But, all that said, we understand the care and consideration that you're taking in this property far more than we are. But all that said,
We're just trying to preserve what little view we have.
Sure.
Because
Yeah,
the trees
the-
have grown and grown and grown.
the house that they're proposing, we went out there the other day to look at it, and the weather was foul, and Mark had written down the wrong time, so he wasn't there, and his assistant who was there, unfortunately, was brand new and really didn't have a lot of information, so we just kind of gave it a cursory view from the hill, and then we left. But the house that's going to be built is going to be right below Annie's current house. So if anybody's view is going to be compromised, it's going to be hers. But in any case, yeah, it comes under scenic mountains. It's also going to be under stormwater. So anything that they do down there, because they're clearing, they're disturbing, not clearing, but they're disturbing such a large area. It's 29,000 square feet. The threshold for the town of Stockbridge stormwater bylaw is 10,000. So they have to provide all the documentation that would prevent any runoff or pollution or anything. When this original property was proposed, they were going to put in a barn for Annie's daughter to keep her horse, and possibly a couple other horses. And some of the neighbors at the time were very concerned that there would be horse runoff into Lily Pond. But it was determined at the time that it's so far from Lily Pond where that barn was going to go, that there was virtually no possibility that anything could get from there to the pond and be a contaminant. But nevertheless, we will look at this all very carefully in terms of what might run off.
so there is
From
going
the
to be a
site.
barn and a house.
No barn is proposed that I'm aware of. Her daughter's since gotten married and lives somewhere else, so that's not a,
So
So it's
is it customary, we don't know the laws, we've never had any reason to consider this before, but we bought what we thought was a house with a view, that's what we wanted when we moved here and it's shrinking. What rights do we have about how this house obstructs our view? We have no rights.
So is this house for one of her children, or is this another
she
rent?
only has one daughter.
Oh, no son, I thought she had a son. So this is for her daughter, not another?
No, I don't think so. It's for somebody else, yeah.
Yeah, it's a rent.
And that's okay too, you can just take your residential property and increase it and rent to.
I don't
She
think that's,
has two separate lots,
Um,
so that's how this comes about.
so
She
two
has,
lots, two homes.
she has
Is that how-
218 and 212 are her current properties. And so she is allowed to build on the lot that she owns. And unfortunately, as much as we would all like to control what happens on our neighbor's property, it's not always the case. We were just at a site visit up on the lake, looking at a house that if I were the neighbors, I would have been out of my mind because they put a second story on what used to be a one-story cottage, and now the people who live behind them can't see the lake anymore. And, there's nothing in the town bylaws that would prevent that from happening. There's a restriction on how high a house can be in Stockbridge, but it's in no way does it say that, you can say to me, you can't build that house there because now I can't see the lake anymore. It's awful for the people whose view is compromised, but unfortunately, as my mother used to say, if you don't own it, you can't control it. So,
I got a suggestion. I'm a little confused as to where your property is. We have a map here. If you could show us where your house is and the trees that might affect the view,
The trees that are affecting the view.
maybe.
Yeah, okay. Let me get oriented
So
here.
here's the road.
Okay,
That's Old Stockbridge Road.
okay, and is this,
This is Lennox, this side.
and is this
what-
Annie's house?
You got it.
Yes. Yeah, and is this her barn?
Yep.
I think that the one on your right that you just pointed to is no longer her property.
So this one and this one are her house. This is someone else's house or lot.
Isn't that the barn? No, I don't know.
No.
It's not a barn.
So this is her house and this is her barn?
Gotta be a barn.
Yeah, because that's her driveway. So our house is here. They're basically two different barns that we've been
Well,
talking
this is a
about.
brand new one. but-
Right.
Yeah.
So this
I
is
think
her
it's that.
house
Yeah.
and this is the barn that you see
Yeah, and
right now.
this has an apartment in it as well.
Which
Yeah.
could be an issue with the select board, I don't know.
Yeah,
But the original barn, the barn that we were talking about with this property is down here.
I see.
And it isn't there.
Right.
Okay.
So there's no
Yeah.
pasture, there's no, this was the pond, I think that's the pond.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, it was down here. She never built
Beautiful.
it.
It's amazing.
She never built it, so it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
But basically, the new house is going pretty much where the barn was going to go and is no longer.
So that's how many feet from here to there, would you say?
See that, Sally?
I don't know.
Go over here, okay?
Yeah, I don't know.
And our house, a little easier question is like right here,
Let's do,
206.
this is 206.
And our garage is attached.
Your view is here?
Well, yeah, and then
more at an
slightly,
eight. It's more at an
it's a
eight.
little like that and a little like this, but she's planted trees. I guess it's in here more, where she's planted so many huge hemlocks that when we bought the house, we're tiny, we didn't know that they were going to become these giant trees. And so that has ruined our view this way.
So
But
the trees are here.
yeah, well, there's trees all the way along here. And a big, big fence that goes to about here. Oh, no, wait, is this Stockbridge? The fence goes to about here.
Okay. And this is,
So her house is gonna be where, her new house here?
He said, I've got to, somewhere down in here. Yeah.
So the scenic mountains basically is in this, the way it's written is intended to protect the view from below.
Looking up.
Oh, looking up.
Okay,
So it's not going to do a thing for you.
gotcha. Darn.
And growing trees from our scenic mountain point of view is a really good thing. So,
Yeah, no,
You know.
it's a really good thing, of course.
Yeah.
But I just thought, that, it would be
and
nice.
you know,
That's what I'm saying.
people are permitted to do what they call vista pruning if they have a house that's reasonably close to a lake or something, so that they can limb up some of the
Right,
trees and they
right.
to have a better
So when they
view.
get taller, that might happen.
Right, yeah, if she
You
wants to
mean
do it, if she wants
naturally,
to do it.
but.
Yeah, if it's,
Yeah.
we're gonna
Because we were trying to read the law and we weren't understanding much of it, nor did we know what towns it applied to.
Yeah.
It sounded like you could sometimes work with your neighbor to prune their trees so that you wouldn't lose your view.
But that's really that's really a between you and your neighbor
Yeah.
thing. It's not, it's unfortunately,
Right.
it's not something that we can control.
Understandable.
Well, thank you so much
very
for taking
You've been
all
very
that time
patient.
to
We
talk with
appreciate,
us.
you appreciate the discussion.
Good night. Good
It's been
night.
a long day.
So we'll hear the House proposal at the next meeting, which
Yeah.
will be the 14th of June.
Thank you very
So
much.
you can either come or you can go via Zoom.
Yeah, we'll definitely be here. Thank you.
Okay. So this is Ballora, am I pronouncing that correctly?
what are we,
Overview for
what
you.
are we doing here?
Did we see that?
Okay, so we were just discussing this property here
Yeah,
at 36. This is 38
yeah.
Lake Drive.
They're going to get rid of that fence, right?
There's a fence all along the water, like a wire
Oh, yes.
fence.
Yes,
So they should not have that there.
no. No, it's gone.
Wasn't gone.
It wasn't gone when we did the site
Yeah, it was
visit.
That's- Okay,
Yeah.
yes. Sure. So there is an existing house here, and we want to tear that down and build a new house, which would be here, that's within the zoning setbacks. Just shifting it a little bit over here. It's a little bit larger, it's a little closer to the lake. It's actually further from the lake than the existing deck. We have a septic system up here, and then we're gonna relocate the driveway so we can put the septic there. The Bellora's well is here and the neighbor's well is here. So we had to get the septic as far away as possible.
So what's the distance to the bowl for all of this? Oh, I mean, where,
Let's see, 35 feet from the house to the lake.
Close.
Yes. But we're no closer.
but you're bigger.
The new house, bigger.
How much?
What's the proposed development on the Lakeside, Shannon? Is there
The
another deck or?
existing house is 1,113 square feet, and the new house is 1,409 square feet. So it's not,
About 400, about
yeah,
600.
it's not a huge difference in comparison to
Little
some
bit counts,
property, yes.
so about
And
300.
what's the overall coverage of the lot?
Existing is 11% and proposed is 13%. Of course, we will be going for special permits, LPOD, and
So that, but
selectmen.
the limit is 10, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's 10, yeah. So going bigger, I mean,
yeah, that, we're gonna deal with the zoning board,
That's,
but they'll still have
it's the
to come here.
selectmen,
selectmen,
selectmen.
and board,
Special.
both.
is that one of those perk rate systems?
This is a perk rate.
Because it's so small.
This is a perk rate, it's a jet bat to a pump chamber to a perk rate. With the perk rates and a jet bat, you have an option of doing a 50% reduction in field size or a 2-foot reduction to groundwater. We did 50% reduction in field size in this case. So it is a little bit higher and we have walls around it to hold that back. This wall is keeping any grading out of the wetland. This wall is keeping any grading out of the road.
Use a membrane too?
Yes.
And
Yep, we have screening plantings here, a rain garden here, trench drains in the driveway with some other plantings, more plantings on this side, a planted discharge for this trench drain, and then new buffer plantings along the lake, a wetland enhancement area where it's just mud here, and a new dock.
so, I mean, I'll give you. my-
That's what I want to hear.
My heads up is any increase when it's 35 feet from the lake, I'm not going to be on board with. Especially if it's going from 11% to 13%. That's not, I mean, that's LOPD, it's not us right now, but it's too close to the lake to be increasing.
Is there a reason besides they just want it, that it's going larger? I mean, this
Well-
one that you just did at 36 was really a hardship
Yes.
because they, their utilities were compromised.
Yes, and they can do interior renovations that meet
Right.
their needs.
But why is this one going bigger?
Because under zoning with the setback that they have, they can.
But
I don't understand.
But they can't, they're theoretically not supposed to go over 10%, so,
Yeah, so
I'm not gonna get into that,
okay.
okay?
But just know in terms of wetlands,
But I'm gonna pass that on.
in terms of
That's
wetlands,
on the left side, where would the well be for the other property? So,
On this,
because there's a property there.
yep, this is 36 that we were just at and talked about. Their
Right.
well is over here.
Okay.
So their leach field is going right here.
Doesn't the perk right, I mean, when we just did the perk right on our property, doesn't it require you to have an entire other,
The jet bat pretreatment system.
But doesn't it require another possibility for where your field is going to go?
For new construction, you have to show that you can have a reserve area.
But isn't this new construction?
No, this is an upgrade because there are no new bedrooms.
Interesting.
And there's a tight tank there now that's right here. So we feel this is a better use of the land and a better system, being the jet bat, which when the effluent comes out of there, it's almost clean. So they say it's almost potable, not that I would certainly try it.
The three-stage treatment?
It's an aeration tank, where there's 3 chambers, I'm not sure. So if there were ever a failure of the tight tank, you're talking raw sewage.
Yeah.
Here, we have multiple treatments.
No, I'm not suggesting that isn't a good idea. I was just curious.
And is the building getting higher?
Yes.
How much?
There, second story.
But that doesn't tell me how high.
It will be
It has to be under
less
35
than
feet.
35.
Yeah.
Height I do not have, but it will be less than 35.
Thank you.
Okay, do we want to do a site visit
Sure.
We did a site visit with Brent.
on this property?
Yes, remember I said
The house
I
is
thought we
there.
did.
it was you and
I don't
I.
think I saw it, but I
Lisa
saw it.
wasn't there, Jay Ryan was there, and
It's when the fence came
John.
up, right?
Fence came
John
off, but then it
Hart.
went back on in.
But we did the site visit at the property just next door.
no, we did one day, I remember.
No, but we just saw it last week too.
Yeah.
So just look next to it. But so ask them to don't take the
Move the
fence
fence,
in
yes.
and out when we come.
And I'd still like to do another site visit.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing it now
Just
that
because
we're.
I want
looking
to
at it.
think about, I have a hard time with plans. I like to be on the ground and look at the trees that are going and
Totally understand.
the things that are. So do we want to go after our one on Old Stockbridge Road? So the 9th at 4 or
4:15.
4:15? 4:15, does that work?
June
Yeah.
9th at 4:15. And this is 38.
38
Like,
Lake Drive.
It's where we parked.
Right.
Where's the parking there?
The driveway is right here.
On top of the system?
Nope, that's where it is now, and we're gonna move it over here.
so just for my information, to go to the steps you have to go through for the increase are planning board and select board? To go from,
Go to planning board for LPOD and select board for
Special permit.
special non-conforming.
thank you. Thank you.
We have our MISA review, we do not have DEP comments yet.
I thought we got DEP comment.
I haven't seen them. I got MISA.
Maybe, yeah, Melanie.
And we have a hard copy of the NOI?
Yeah, I think so.
If I can
I
have
came
one.
in.
Should, they were delivered on the
Yeah,
12th.
no, I came in tonight and spent an hour on the phone. So I was not really, yeah, it's right here. I did what I had to do and then I got confused. So here's the NOI. Do you want the plans too?
Can I take them?
Yep. Okay, that's how we get several different ones.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate your time this evening, and either Brent or I will be at that site visit.
Okay, great.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so then there's the business with the knotweed at the culvert.
So is this the town of Stockbridge we're talking about now?
This one.
Well, it's
we,
here, this is from Allison Dixon, who's working for HBA again. Dear Stockbridge Conservation Commission, as you are aware, the Green Acres crew has been assessing road stream crossings in Stockbridge. In the process, we noted a concern at the recently replaced Glendale Road. Michael, are you listening? Did you get this? Did you get this?
No, I haven't seen that yet.
Okay, it doesn't look as though it was sent to you. We concerned that the recently replaced Glendale Road culvert located between 14 and 16 Glendale Road. Japanese knotweed has appeared and is growing in the downstream right of way. It is small now, but as you know, it will take over this site. I'm alerting you and Hugh in case the order of conditions has not been closed out. It has, but probably was. I was hopeful that if you required clean fill, i.e. no invasive plant material, you might have a case to go back to the contractor and have them remediate. I'm CCing Hugh, so he is aware of it, and maybe there is something his crew could do with the Conservation Commission support. At this stage, it seems like it could be removed, but if left too long, it will, as you know, fill in that whole embankment. I alerted the property owners, Ruth and Michael Blumenfeld at 13 Glendale Road, to be vigilant on their property where it's beginning to invade. Apparently their land extends across the stream to the other bank. Let me know if you have any questions. It would be great to do something, if something could get done this summer. Also, I should schedule an opportunity to visit with the Conservation Commission regarding this project. Crew has pretty much finished assessments in Stockbridge. In July, it might be helpful if we could attend a meeting and provide update.
I'll touch base with Hugh about that one. I'm trying to think if that's the one that the town replaced, the culvert, or if that was
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember now. I mean, I don't know that we know who did it. I think it was a town project to begin with.
Yeah, I think it was a town project, and I think it was done by an in-house crew for replacement of the culvert. But I'll follow up with Hugh because the material we got for filling in should have been clean. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I know Hugh is very vigilant and doesn't want this sort of thing to happen. So he'll be, he'll certainly be
I'll
responsive.
follow up with him tomorrow.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, anything else?
Yeah, we didn't do the removal of invasive water chestnuts.
Oh, yeah, we didn't get it advertised. So the
That one
removal,
you did get advertised.
it did?
Yep. I have the tear sheet for that one.
Okay, well, yeah, I couldn't figure out what got advertised and what didn't get advertised because I sent all these things in at the same time. And they sent me a thing saying, oh, we're going to change our system.
Right, we're dealing with the same thing. The Berkshire Eagle has completely changed its classified advertisement.
Yeah, so I re-advertised it, so it's re-advertised for the 14th, for whatever that's worth. But as long as you say it's already been advertised, because I didn't see where, they didn't send me the thing saying that the way they usually do.
I believe I have a copy of the tear sheet I can share with
Okay.
the board.
No, that's fine. It's just that I don't have it. They usually send me an email with a little thing on it that tells me what's been advertised and what hasn't. Okay, so, do you want to tell us what you're going to do
Sure.
for the removal of the invasive water chestnuts?
So we have, the town has contacted Aquatics Roots about performing the removal of the water chestnuts in the outlet channel where they've been sited over the last year. We're basing it on where they were seen last year. This would include, this would be a hand harvesting technique. So they would actually use divers who would hand pick the plants and the seeds. They would remove them and bring them up to surface support personnel. And they would they would mark where the plants are, where the seeds are, and then remove and then dispose of the plant material. So this is all done by hand. At the same time, they would also evaluate whether or not the water chestnuts have spread beyond the identified location last year. And I can show you where the, let's see, screen share. So they would be using that entire area there. They'd be using divers to cover that area to remove the water chestnuts, like I said, by hand. So there's no mechanical harvesting, no nothing, all done by hand.
How big are the seeds? I'm just curious, but they can see them.
Yeah, the timing of everything is that the seed, this is about the time they need to do it in May or June when the seeds are germinating before they're dropping. And then they can remove the plant and the seed together before they drop the seeds, and that's how they spread. They would examine at the end of the area. If you can see my cursor up, and they look up past here to see if they've spread beyond. And then we would have to come back for, letting you guys know if we're going to go beyond. But right now, this is the area that the water chestnuts were seen within, and it's the area that we're proposing to do the hand removal.
Okay.
It's okay with me.
Yep, sounds fine.
Somebody want to make a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we're good.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else?
Make a motion to adjourn?
Well, no, I had a question. You were going to get back to us on the performance standards, Michael? Where they are?
Yeah, I'll have to apologize at this point. The chaos of the last couple of weeks with, especially COVID, I've had a number of staff out over the last couple of weeks, including our town clerk during the elections and town meeting and that I just haven't been able to follow up on that. So I will get back to you for the next meeting. I apologize for that.
No, that's fine, thank you.
I sent everything to Donna.
I did see that you had sent everything to her, but I will follow up with Donna as to the status of it, and I will either report myself back to you guys or I will get to Sally where we currently stand.
Okay,
Thank you.
Great. Okay, are you John McCarthy?
I am John McCarthy.
Okay, we are already scheduled for Jamie and Lisa to come to your property. Are your trees marked that you want to take down?
They are. It was a while ago that I marked them, so my hope is that they're still standing. I also included in the packet that I sent some pictures to show the trees marked, so hopefully that can help guide.
Yeah.
It's relatively obvious. I think the ones that need to be removed, they're all either dying or there's a few that are on Creekside that are the root base is eroding. So that's really the reason, and they're posing a hazard to both my house and my neighbors. So that's why we're looking to get them removed.
Okay. So Jamie and Lisa are going to come out and look at your trees on the 2nd of June.
At 4.
At 4 o'clock.
Okay, great. And then, yeah, I mean, it's easy for you to access that area from 183. And then beyond that, then should I show up to the next session to discuss, or can you make a determination? Do I need to be there? I'm just questioning.
I mean, if that's sort of simple and straightforward, they'll just say, yeah, it's fine.
Okay, perfect.
And we'll, do I have your email?
We have that power?
You do.
We do.
Okay.
Do we have your email, John? Did you email me? You did.
I did.
Oh,
Yep.
You did, because I have your printout. Yes, okay.
Perfect.
All right, so if there's a problem, we'll let you know.
Sounds good.
Okay?
Appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Anything else, Sally?
I don't think so.
Make a motion to end the meeting?
Awesome.
I'll
Second it.